Hey everyone, it's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. Want to thank you for coming back to check out another video. As you can see, I am in full webcam mode because there's some interesting things that I want to show you on the computer tonight that I think could really help you in terms of tips and pointers for your reselling business. If you are a member of my Facebook group, which is the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, the link of which, by the way, is down below in the description section. So, go down there, click that, and come over and join. But if you're a member of that already, you may have seen that I posted a link to a completed sale that I did of this item recently. It's a John Deere lawn and garden tractor oil filter element, and on the bottom you could see that there is a manufacturer's number. See if it'll get a little clearer there. It's AM, let's see, 37025. There we go. Clear it up a little bit there. So that's an important number because that's a number that someone would use to look that number up to try to find the actual item. So it's just a manufacturer's number. Now this is a vintage piece. This is considered new old stock because it's in new condition. It's never been taken out of the box. Even though the box is vintage, it has been sitting in this box since 1979. You can see that number written on the top of the box. Looks like April 1979. So it has been sitting in there for a long time and not used. So that makes it of particular interest and of potentially good value, because if it's an automobile part or a tractor part like this, especially if it's for something like John Deere, that should jump out to you as something that has potential for really good resale value, because there are people who are looking for those old pieces to work on a project that they're on, or they could be even collectors who are looking for particular parts to add to their collection. So look into those items if you see them. They're typically in the areas of automobiles, like I said, tractors, other types of mechanical parts. Look those things up if you find them. They could be really valuable. But I wound up getting this for $1 at an estate sale. And you will see that at the haul video that I did recently, where I showed where I obtained this item. I showed some other interesting things that I picked up. I'm going to put a link to that at the end of this video, so go check it out if you want to see some of the other interesting things that I found there, like a whole big collection of Care Bear action figures that are worth a lot of money that I found at a thrift store, or other John Deere items, or t-shirts and stuff like that. So go check it out. There's other things that you'll find interesting, I think, in that video. But what I didn't show in that video is the part where I actually found this item in the garage area of the estate sale. And I actually do have a clip of that, and I'm going to show it to you in just a second. I actually had circled back after I found this and took a video to show the actual location. So let me bring that up now to show it to you. But before I bring that up, let me tell you that I wound up finding this item at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and the estate sale started at 8 o'clock. I couldn't get there exactly when the estate sale started because I had to be where I was earlier in the day at the original start-off points for the haul video that I showed, which was at a rummage sale and a thrift store sale, so it couldn't be at the start of the estate sale. Now, don't get me wrong, if it's an estate sale that I have good reason to believe is going to have really, really great items, and I want to get there first and beat out the other resellers, or at least be in there actively competing with them, I will definitely do that. However, this one was not advertised like that, and so it wasn't something that I was trying to get to first. So but that shouldn't discourage you. Some people I know do get discouraged if there's, if they can't get to a sale until the very end, thinking that there's not going to be anything there, and that's not true. There's plenty of things that people pass up that have high value because they just don't have the knowledge. Secondly, at the end of sales. There could, a lot of people who run estate sales or garage sales start deeply discounting the merchandise. So what something else, what someone else was not willing to pay earlier in the day, you may very well get a good deal on it because you came in right at the end. So don't be nervous to come in at the end of an estate sale or garage sale, because you still might find some good things there. So anyway, let me bring up this video and just bring it up right here, and let me just minimize my screen so that I don't take up the whole screen with my face as I'm trying to show you this. So let me bring this up here. I'm just going to play it here. So what you could see, this is the actual location of the garage for the estate sale. Now, what happened was you walk up this driveway and there's this big open garage door, and you just could walk straight into this. But what most people tend to do in these situations is they bypass the garage and they go straight into the house. So there's the house was open to the left. Now, I would advise not doing that. Garages are great places to look for things. Just like basements are, and just like attics are. They're places where people store stuff, and you can find great things inside these cupboards and stuff. So definitely take a look in them and don't pass them up. Now, as you can see here, what I did was I walked back to this cupboard area right here, and right on that second shelf there, that's right there, right behind that Irish Spring and by that Raid, that's where I found these 3 boxes of John Deere items. So one of which was the oil filter element that I showed you. That's new in the box. There was another one that's the same exact item. It's just that the box is ripped on the top. And then there was another item which you'll see right here is a box that contains what's called a solenoid, which is a starter for a tractor. And that's also a vintage piece, and I had looked that up there and knew that that one went for $30, and then just picked up the other ones as well because I had a feeling, looking at the comps, that those would sell really well too. Now, one of the other tips here is that these items, as you can see, they're all unmarked. They don't have any, and what I mean by that is they don't have any type of price listed on them. There's no tag on them or anything like that that says what they cost. That means these are items that have been overlooked by the person who is running the sale, and that you will definitely get or most likely you will get a really, really good price on them. There were plenty of other items at this estate sale that had stickers on them and tags on them and were priced highly, things like dolls and toys and signs and furniture and trains and things like that, all of which I just ignored and walked past because there was no way for me to make any money on those types of items in terms of reselling them because the prices were just too high. But these are the items that I'm definitely looking for, especially when I come there late in the day and I'm trying to find the things that everybody else left behind. So lesson, don't pass up things just because they don't have a sticker on them. Doesn't mean they're not valuable. It just means someone else may not realize the value. That's where your knowledge base comes in, and watching videos like this to help educate yourself and learn what are the things that other people are passing up. So that's pretty much it for this part of the video here, because I just kind of stopped it there just to show people where I actually found the item. So got that for $1, and then the issue when I came home was figuring out, okay, well, how am I going to price this out? So let me take you to the eBay page here in terms of pricing, and what you want to do is you want to type the item in to the advanced tab right here, and you want to type your item. So you can see here I just typed in John Deere AM 37025, and then I just check off completed listing and I just hit search. And then what you're going to do is you're going to sort it. There's all these different ways to sort it. I sort it by the highest price, which would include shipping as well. I am searching here for all listings, which would include auctions. The reason for that is that the auction price if there is one, will tell me what is the maximum someone is willing to pay for the item. In this case, it tells me the maximum because the highest priced one was something done through auction format. Of course, there could have been a buy it now that sold higher than an auction price, but so you look at both of them. So because again, either one of those are going to tell you what someone was willing to pay for your item, and that's really important to know. It helps to establish value. So you can see that there was one that sold for $60, but it's not the same exact model number as mine. It's a different one, but it's a similar looking box. It's the same size, so at least tells me there's something similar to it that sold in that price range, which gives me some reason to believe that my item could probably sell in that price range as well. Now we'll scroll down. We're going to skip this second one because that's actually my item, and there's a cross through the $59.99 because I took a best offer on it. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Down here, you're going to see there's another John Deere oil filter element, and it replaces AM37025. So that's the reason why it's sold for cheaper, because it's a modern replacement part. It's not the original piece, which is what I have for AM37025. So basically, the most you could really do in this situation, since there were only two items that came up, and again, you have to exclude the middle one because that's mine, $60 is where I would come at in terms of saying, all right, well, this is realistic in terms of a value I could potentially get out of this. But then the next thing you have to do is you have to search for whether or not this item is currently listed, because if someone else is selling it right now for $24.99, I'm gonna have to come in lower than it if it's very similar in terms of in terms of its qualities, is if it's the same thing in terms of being new, old stock, that type of stuff. So not damaged, things like that. So but let's take a look, and what you'll actually find here, what I do, and I want to talk to you about this pricing stuff because I get these questions about pricing a lot from people, either on my Instagram account, which is @PrimetimeTreasure. That's one word, so follow me there if you'd like to get in touch. The other thing is I do get these questions a lot in my Facebook Resell resource center group as well. How do you go about pricing things? I just actually answered a question from a member tonight about pricing a shirt, and so this is kind of the process that I would go through, is what I'm laying out to you. So there's the first part, which is looking up what it sold for, determining what the maximum value is, and then the next part, which is here, is finding out, again, if anyone else is currently selling the item. And what you'll see here is that no one is currently selling it in buy it now format, and that's all I'm interested in. I'm not interested in all the other listings, which would include the auction items, because the auction prices are going to start low, and because the seller is hoping that there'll be a bidding war and that the price will increase over time. So that number that the auction starts at is not realistic in terms of where you should be starting a buy it now price. And most people on eBay are selling in the buy it now best offer format, and that's what I would advise you to do. So that's why I use that as my comparison point for how people are currently selling things now. And what you'll see is that there is no one that has the exact item that I have. No one at all. So that tells me that I have an item that is in or should be in high demand, and it's in low supply. I say high demand because it's John Deere, it's tractors. I know it's an area that people have a high interest in, particularly in the Midwest. So I have a pretty strong sense that this is going to sell well, that there's going to be high demand for it. And now that I know there's low supply, that gives me exactly what I want as a seller, which is leverage when it comes down to negotiating with potential buyers. So speaking of potential buyers, let me show you what happened when I put this item up. Within an hour, you can see here I got an initial offer of $25. Now, that's great that someone sent in an offer, but it's what I would consider a lowball offer. By lowball offer, what I mean is that this offer is much lower than what it is worth. It is, I actually define it as being an offer that comes in at half price or less of what you have it listed for, provided that what you have it listed for is something that's realistic based on current researched market value, which mine is, based on what I just showed you earlier in the video. So what I do in this situation is I just automatically go ahead and I decline it. When I say automatically, I don't have it set up automatically. I just mean that I will manually go in, I get an offer like that, and I just click decline. I will not engage in negotiations at that point because I think that first of all, there's no point really at that stage, and second, because you're too far apart to really be meaningfully negotiating. Secondly, I think it conveys a sense of confidence in your item if you just decline it without even having to say anything, because it conveys that you're really not worried about it, and you shouldn't be. You know, you have 30 days to sell your item. Even if it doesn't sell, you could always relist it, and you could lower your price over time, particularly if it's something that's popular. It should sell, and you shouldn't really have much to worry about. So what you'll see is the person then comes in with an offer of 30, but that's still lowball because it's half. So again, I just decline it. Then the person comes in with an offer of 35, and these offers are all coming in very quickly after I decline them, which is another mistake in terms of negotiating on the part of the buyer, because what it is telling me is that this person really, really wants the item and that they're willing to pay for it. And so again, this is something that you could use in terms of leverage for negotiation, just psychologically yourself, in terms of knowing that you likely could get more for your item and more, get the price up to more what you think the current market value for it is, especially if the person's coming in initially with lowball offers. And you could also tell what the strategy of this buyer is now is that they're just going to keep increasing by $5 increments until you give them a price that's lower than what the buy it now price is listed for. Now, keep in mind what some buyers also use as a strategy is hoping that you'll feel guilty in terms of declining multiple times. And there are sellers that do start to feel guilty after declining multiple offers. They feel all right declining one or two, but then they decline a third. They start worrying that they seem mean. You're not mean. You're just trying to get what you think the value is for your item based on the research that you've done. So it's okay to decline multiple offers, as you can see here, because then a fourth offer came in for $40. Now, once it got to $40, it's much closer to what I think would be reasonable because, now we're only $20 apart. Again, I have it up for $60. So what I do at that point is I do a friendly counter offer. I just keep it respectful, say hello, thank you for your continued interest. But the lowest I'm going to go on this item is $49.99, and I remind them that there's free shipping involved. And so that's the halfway point, and most people will feel that a halfway point is fair. And now the person, in this instance, feels like they don't have to go back and forth. They continue negotiations, and so the person accepted the offer. As you can see there, sold for $49.99. So it actually wound up selling for double what the initial lowball offer was. Now, if you're comfortable with that initial offer that comes through, by all means take it, but don't take it out of fear and out of worry that your item's not going to sell. That's a mistake, and that's why you need to do your research, because you do your research, you develop knowledge, you develop an understanding, you could use that again psychologically when you are negotiating with people to to make the best deal for yourself. So don't psych yourself out and scare yourself out in thinking that your item's not going to sell when you have history on your side to indicate that it definitely should. So make sure that you keep that in mind. So okay, so the item sells for $50. Again, that's a great turnaround, a great return on investment very quickly after I just purchased it this past weekend and very quickly after I sold it. And that also gives me some additional knowledge now that I have another piece that I'm going to put up for sale that's identical to it, except that the box is a little bit ripped on the top. So I'll start it off probably a little bit lower, but I still know that I could get good value out of the piece. So I'm going to go back to main screen here, so and just kind of open this up a little bit. So, whoops, don't want to make me totally go away there. Okay, so I hope that this video was helpful for you in teaching you, and going over some principles, both in terms of sourcing, also just in terms of product research, in terms of developing knowledge and leverage, and in terms of negotiating with buyers and dealing with lowball offer situations. And you could see there again quickly how you could just take that lowball offer of 25 and just flip it to $50, double what it initially was, within really a matter of of a few emails back and forth in terms of either declining or or counter offering, that sort of thing. So if you found this helpful and some of the tips in the video helpful, please make sure you click the like button down below. It would be also helpful if you shared this video with other people on social media so you could bring them over to the channel. If you're a member of the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, please share that with other people as well. And if you're not, please come by, stop by, check out the group. I think you'll really, really, really like it. And it's growing really fast, and just all sorts of interesting things happen on every day. So please come by. You'll find a lot of support and help if you need it. Plus, you could post links to YouTube videos and your own eBay store and promote yourself in a non-spammy way. So hopefully you'll find that interesting and we'll come on by. The other thing is if you can hit the subscribe button, that would really be great. That treasure chest that pops up there, hit that, or just hit the button that says subscribe. By the time you get this, hopefully I'm up to 100 subscribers, but I'm very close. I'm at 89 right now, so I'm hoping that it gets up there soon. You can help me with that, so please do so if you like the video and want to get notifications and just support the channel in general. That is done by subscribing. So I hope you'll do that, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video. Thanks very much, everybody. Take care.